Welcome to Soul Care, a chance in your week to stop and look deeply at your spiritual life. You may think that you don't have very many choices in these coronavirus days that we're living through, but actually, we always have a choice. Think back to a time when you chose to have a relationship or a career. You could have chosen someone else or something else. I retired from full-time ministry a little over 3 years ago. It was not an easy decision, really, when to retire. The choice to retire meant losing some things that meant a lot to me, like my relationship as a pastor with my congregation. That was hard to let go of. I couldn't visit my former parishioners anymore, even if they were sick or dying, because there was another minister in that role. I lost my colleagues too, and I was no longer a part of a team. I lost the role I had played as spiritual advisor and as pastoral authority. I was feeling like, my week had changed. I lost the regular flow of day to day. I didn't have a sermon to prepare for Sunday, and I didn't have meetings to plan for and visits to attend to. I didn't have my same calendar, that's for sure. There were a lot of losses, some that I had not truly anticipated. I figured I would gain some things, that's why I retired. I wanted more time to write, and I wanted opportunity to travel, and more flexibility to deal with my mother, who lives in town now. She's 102, so I check in with her daily. So I did get those things. Of course, the travel opportunities ceased to exist once we had the COVID-19 routine. But actually, how I would feel about those things, I had not known. You really don't know how you're going to feel about things until they happen. People certainly research their biggest decisions in life, what career to pursue usually, or when to retire. Many people really research that before they make that decision. But in the final analysis, you really just take the plunge. You make a decision, and there you go. It's like the poem that's a favorite to many of us by Robert Frost, The Road Not Taken. Two roads diverged in a yellow wood, and sorry I could not travel both. And be one traveler, long I stood, and looked down one as far as I could, to where it bent in the undergrowth. Then took the other, as just as fair, and having perhaps the better claim, because it was grassy and wanted wear, though as for that, the passing there had worn them really about the same. And both that morning equally lay in leaves no step had trodden black. Oh, I kept the first for another day. Yet knowing how way leads on to way, I doubted if I ever should come back. I shall be telling this with a sigh, somewhere ages and ages hence. Two roads diverged in a wood, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. You might picture a yellow wood about this time of year. If you live in a place like New England, the forests are turning colors in October now. So our decision always means one road you pick and the other road you don't pick. I wonder what decisions are coming up for you in your life. When to make a move and where to, or how to handle a new health challenge. Whether to open your home to family members in spite of the COVID risk. What new interests to take up. Which relationships to cultivate now and which to let drop. Whether to go deeper into a new faith expression. I'm sure you can make a longer list of all the things that you're thinking about and trying to decide. This is a time when we have the opportunity to think consciously about our choices. Some losses have been thrust upon us by the COVID pandemic, but we still have some choice about how we will face the challenges that this pandemic brings. Ron Heifetz, in his book Leadership on the Line, suggests that in making changes, we must first consider what we most cherish from the past. Then we must name the things that we have to let go of. And finally, we can make choices to adapt to a new reality for our future. I think this is helpful because it gives us a chance to look at our values in the past, present, and future as we make important decisions. I know that in my position as a full-time pastor, I cherished the relationships with parishioners. That was the first question. What do you cherish from the past? I had to let go of seeing those people when I retired. That's what I had to let go of. That's the second step. The realization that I had to have a loss and let go of some things. Now I am making the choice to work part-time at a church where I can still use my skills and feel the rewards of those relationships. This is an adaptation. The third question, what will I do as adaptations now and going forward? Well, and instead of preaching every week, I'm talking to you. That's an adaptation. We go through many changes and many choices in our lives. And now especially, everyone is having to make adjustments. We're in this together. I'm thinking I really miss going to concerts, something I've always enjoyed. So I need to be more intentional about listening to classical music at home. I really miss eating out at restaurants, so I need to be more creative in my cooking or make a special effort to support our local restaurants by ordering takeout for special dinners. I really miss going to the library, so I have to plan ahead and order books. I really miss seeing my friends and my family members. So I'm developing new ways of communicating by Zoom and by FaceTime. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Some days I have to admit I feel a bit blue. I have to admit that I really like going out and being around people and making choices more spontaneously. So I am now admitting my losses, and I'm grieving that I've lost some of that freedom. And now I know I need to make the adaptations accordingly. After all, I know that I am responsible for my own happiness. I really can't blame anybody but myself if I'm not happy. There's no point in being grumpy around the people that I love. They won't like that. So today I'm thinking about how I can take charge and make some changes that I need to make. In every situation, no matter how bleak it is, we always can choose what attitude to take. The writer of Deuteronomy said, I call heaven and earth to witness against you today that I have set before you life and death, blessings and curses. Choose life so that you and your descendants may live. So I guess I am to choose life when I come to that fork in the road. That might mean I choose the road that goes in the direction of the common good. It might mean that I choose the road toward love and acceptance of all the people I know and of all people in society, not the road towards hatred and exclusion. I don't want to go down that path. When I get to that fork in the road, it might mean that I choose the road that goes toward the fulfillment of my talents so that God can use me in new, creative, and exciting ways. That might mean that I choose the road that brings the most healing and the least pain to myself, to those in my circle of care, and ultimately to the whole wide world. Maybe both roads would be fine, really, at that fork in the road. Either road, though, means I can't take the other road. So acceptance of the consequence of my decision is very important. And then going down that path, I need to have a positive attitude. That's important. If I have a positive attitude, whichever road I end up on should be fine. And it will be well with my soul. That's my wish for you, that it will be well with your soul.